Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Doha Heat Podcast. This is Ifat Syed with you, and I am sitting in for Elizabeth Wood. We have a special guest today, and her name is Khansa, and she's the founder of Creativity with K. I'm sure you guys have seen her on Instagram. It's a pretty lit account. Anyway, before we get started, let me make a few announcements. So we set up an online fundraiser for animal shelters in Qatar because it's the summer. They're going through a really tough time with, getting funds and resources to keep their shelters running. So it would be great if you guys could donate any amount to the shelters or even share the links with your friends so they could donate. So thank you. So getting back to you, Khansa. Tell us about yourself. How did you get to Qatar?
Okay, well, thanks for having me, first of all. The thing about me getting to Qatar, I was born here, so, I was here since birth. I grew up here. I went to school here. I even did my university here in Qatar University. I studied computer engineering, and, I started my blog while I was in university.
So how did it go from computer engineering to a lifestyle or fashion blog?
So basically, back in the day, there weren't any bloggers or any hype of social media when I started, because when I was getting out of high school, that was the beginning of Facebook. So we were just into Facebook and all of that, and we didn't really think that was where the direction of media was going to be. So basically, I just had my website. I used to just put in my things that interested me, like colorful things, the world outside computer engineering. Because as much as I did like computer engineering, it wasn't really my calling. Like, I felt like my passion was elsewhere. I didn't really know what it was. Also, the thing is, when you are getting out of school, you're still, in a bubble. You only know what you really know. Like, only once you step outside, you really know what all you can do in life. And I became a computer engineer, but I just had this blog going on. Nothing really, it wasn't something that I knew that would be a whole career as such. And I just kept sharing, and then before I knew, people just started contacting me and telling me oh, can you come to us, or can you visit our event, can you promote us? And I'm like, why? What have I done? Or why do you want me to be there? I'm just somebody. It's just my personal space. I wasn't expecting these things. So what I can say, it just happened by accident. So that's how I started blogging. And then now I'm here 5 years later, still blogging.
So going back a little bit, you were brought up in Qatar, born and brought up in Qatar.
Yeah.
How was life as an expat living here?
Life was, it was very peaceful. There wasn't much to do except for friends, and you had parks where you could go. There weren't any malls or anything as such. So it was just a very quiet life. I don't think I got to experience a lot of things. It was a very quiet life. I could just say playing with my neighbors, going to parks, friends from school, and that's it. So I feel I have missed out a lot on other childhood experiences, I don't know, going to a theme park, a good theme park. That's something I really felt like I missed. So whenever I travel to a country where there's a good theme park, I make sure I go there, and I'm still a child, because I missed these things when I was a child. So but I like growing up here. I don't regret anything about growing up here. I feel like I'm more a Qatari at heart than any other nationality, because I've had my whole life here. So I don't think I regret being here at all. I love this place as much as I think any Qatari would. I really love being here.
Yeah, that's great. I can resonate as well. I was born in India, but I moved to Dubai when I was 4, and then I came to Qatar around 10 years ago. So same feeling, very patriotic feeling towards Qatar, and just more of a home than whenever I go back to India once a year. It's just I want to come back here all the time, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can totally resonate with that feeling. It just feels so much a part of you and your personality.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
So going back to your blog, what was the inspiration behind it? Like, I know you said that, you know, you were a computer engineer and you were looking for ways to express yourself online, but the lifestyle or the fashion aspect of it, how did that come about?
So basically, like, you know, as much as people see me covered on the outside and not being so fashion savvy like how people expect us to be, I just you know, I still like beautiful shoes, bags. These are things that, you know, I always like window shopped, or like whenever I go shopping, that's the section that I have to go check out all the time. Like, you know, is there something new? Is there something I like? So at some point I realized that also when I kind of studied the industry here, like how people view a person in a way, like, you know, someone who they can't judge what they're wearing or what they normally tend to wear. I kind of felt that they didn't really consider us as a part of, you know, the audience who normally would go shopping. So I just thought maybe, you know, I might as well integrate that into my blog just to make sure that, you know, we are all here, we also shop, we also have these interests. So it kind of, at some point in time, I feel like I became a voice for certain people, like, you know, who led the conservative lifestyle, who just were too shy to share, or was just too scared to share because they don't really know how the world would see them. So at some point in time, I got the courage to become a voice for people like that. So yeah, that's pretty much about it. Yeah,
that's pretty amazing. But yeah, like you mentioned, you're a veiled blogger. How difficult is it for you? I mean, it must be challenging, right, to be in this kind of industry, you can say, where there are other Muslim hijabi bloggers.
Yeah.
But again, there you can sense the fashion behind it, but it must be more challenging for you, right?
It is quite challenging because people don't take me seriously. They're like, why would we choose you? Because for marketers, it's more about how much they can see, and when I am veiled and covered, they really can't see anything. But the thing is, like, what I have is my audience trusts me. So like when I like you know, people they message me saying, Khansa, like, you know, can you tell me where you got that shoe? We really like that. Or where you got that bag? And it all mostly comes as private messages, because people, maybe they're too shy. They don't want you know, people to know that they're messaging me. But it's kind of like you know, inspired me to go and do more of it. And I keep telling people, like, you know, you need to consider this certain audience, this sect and community. But also, like, I do a lot of travel as well, travel content as well. And what I've noticed is that the travel sector is more accepting of me, because they feel like we miss out on a community like you know, of veiled people, because there aren't many who do that. So they normally go ahead and work with me very easily, but I still find it very much frustrating when it comes to fashion. Like travel is much more accepting, and I think it's also the mindset, because when you travel, you learn about culture, about people, about how they think, and you are a lot more open-minded and understanding. So I really love traveling.
Yeah, okay. Tell us more about that. What do you love about traveling? Because I know that a segment of your blog focuses on your travel escapades.
Yeah. So like growing up, like, you know, I've obviously been in a pretty conservative community, and I feel like whenever I hear people talking about travel, they're really scared. Will there be halal food? Are they going to be, like, you know, not welcoming? Are they going to judge me? Like, how safe is this place going to be? And of course, we see it all in the news. You know, everything has extra drama added to it. So for me, I was like, you know what? I really want to see the world. I really want to get out of my comfort zone, and I just don't want to stay in hotels only. I want to really experience experience what the world has to offer. And so whenever I travel, I make sure to find out like things that will make Muslims feel comfortable traveling, because I feel like you cannot really find information as such on the internet. So I feel like, okay, I need to put together a guide like that. And then I also look into like whenever I travel, if there has been any Islamic influence in the history or anything like that. For instance, I traveled to the former Yugoslavian Republic of Macedonia. So, so I was expecting it to be very much influenced by Greece and Greek culture, but then when I went there, I saw that there were a lot of mosques, so they had a lot of Turkish influence, and so their history was a mix of Turkish and Greek influence. So when you go around the city, you find a balance of both, and it was really interesting for me because I never knew of it, because I didn't find anything much about it on the internet. So it was a real eye-opener for me. And then when I came back, I was telling people, you have to go there are mosques, you get halal food, it's very like, people aren't so judgmental, or they're actually more accepting and welcoming. So to this date, like wherever I have gone, like, okay, maybe people must have stared at me a bit, but more than that, like they've been very helpful, kind, welcoming. I haven't had like a negative experience as such traveling in the wheel as well. So yeah, I enjoy traveling as well. And also because I feel like I learn a lot. It breaks down like so many misconceptions and barriers, and like it always makes me feel like I'm less of a person, like there's so much out there, I really don't know anything. So it's kind of humbling, and I learn a lot, and I really love that about travel. So yeah, I try and travel whenever I get the chance.
Wow, yeah, I totally understand, and I really agree. I feel also that when we travel, personally I've experienced that there are people, like when you go to before you go to a country, you think, oh, they're not going to accept me for being a Muslim, or for wearing the hijab. And your family, like my family gets really afraid every time I travel to a new place, because they're like, what's going to happen? And then I go there and I realize that they're actually accepting, and there are people who want to talk to you, who want to get to know you better, and that's how you show your culture to them as well.
Exactly.
So it's a very good way to connect with people.
It's true.
Anyway, so moving on, how has the reception been for your fashion blog? Maybe over the years, has it changed, or has it been consistent? What has it been like for you?
It has changed. Like people have been more accepting. Like yes, people are slowly opening up. So yes, and then also like I love sharing my travel bits. But like in Ramadan and like just before Ramadan, there were a couple of sales. I was like, okay, let me just show some shoe. Like some stuff that I like, and I feel like people actually react more to that than travel. And then I was talking to someone, and they were like, because it's actually relatable in the sense they can just go to the mall and get the shoe that you shared. But then when you're sharing travel, it's more like, okay, when I travel, maybe I will go here kind of situation. So then I was like, okay, maybe I need to do more fashion, because that's more like reachable. And so I feel like opportunities do come up, and also like one thing I've not done is give up, because it gets really hard. The thing about blogging is as much as people see all of those colorful pictures and everything, I actually share all of this behind like four walls. So it's like it's still like a normal desk job at some point. Like yes, the pictures look colorful, you have those events or those experiences, yes, but at the end of the day, you still have to go behind your desk and put it out, or go behind on your phone and put it out. And it's like, if you get lazy, it's not going to happen. So you also need to be constantly pushing yourself to get that going. And I'm glad, like as much as there were times I wanted to give up, I didn't, and I kept going. And I'm like, it's taken me to a lot of places. So yeah, it always reminds me why I shouldn't be giving up, and just keep going.
Yeah, how has that been? Because I think about it, and like, most of the times you see on Instagram, on Facebook, everybody's always sharing their positive memories and the good things that happened to them.
Yeah.
So like, for me sometimes, you look at that and you get more stressed. If you're
Yeah.
having a bad time in your life, or if you're in
Yeah.
a bad place, you look at all of those things and it's just it's frustrating sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, why am
It's-
I not having this much
yeah.
fun in life? So how has
It's-
that been, that
It's true,
dichotomy?
like, so basically I used to have a point in life where I would compare myself to every other blogger in town, and I'm like, oh, this brand worked with her, that brand worked with her, why am I not there? And then what I realized was there's also this thing that my faith actually like helps me a lot in what I do. So there's this thing that says like at every point in life you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So what is meant for you will definitely come for you regardless of when, where, or who you are. So I kind of like during my blogging I've learned that a lot, or I've witnessed that a lot, because sometimes it's just so hard to like even believe in things like that. You're like, no, it's not going to happen. So let me just give you an example of me reaching the Maldives. So I actually got this project to go to the Maldives. So Maldives was never on my list, because obviously like it's a little bit of an expensive destination. But I really didn't expect that I would be visiting the Maldives not in another 10 years. But somehow like things just worked out and I ended up in the Maldives. So people go like, it's expensive, right? But I'm like, yeah, but I didn't have to cover any expense, like somebody like God put me in that place like where I didn't need to have anything, but he just took me to the Maldives. So it was like it's kind of hard for normal people to relate to, like, what is she talking about? I mean, can that even happen? But it happened. So it's something like that I really believe in, and I find whenever I feel down, that's something I keep going back to. I'm like, maybe you're not having it because you're not meant to be there at this point, but when you're ready for it, you will definitely have it. So yeah.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to people who are who want to start blogs, who want to do something that's life changing for them, but they can't, or what's your advice for them?
So basically what I would do is you see, like, you really never know what you are really meant to do unless you try different stuff. So some people find their calling really early, some people it take time, but whatever it is, like, the first thing is you have to start, because without starting nothing's going to fall in place. And you don't need to have everything to start doing a certain thing that you want to do. For instance, like when I started blogging, I first thought maybe I needed an expensive camera, maybe I needed this, maybe I needed that, but I just kept blogging, and all I did was use my phone. And to this day, the only camera that I really use is my phone camera. Like, people ask me like, what camera do you use? And I'm like, it's my phone camera. But the thing is, like, you eventually learn to make the best use of what you have, and so that's what you really need. So one thing you need to do is start and then make the best use of what you have, and then things will slowly fall in place, because you really can't, like, see, when I started blogging, I didn't predict that this was how my journey was going to be, but because I started, because I didn't give up, and because I kept going with what I had, it's just taken me to a lot of places. So I think it's more about just starting, and being yourself, because people really know when you're trying to do something that you're not interested in, when they can't feel the passion. So it's always good to get yourself in something that, no matter what happens, you will fight for it. No matter what happens, you will, try to keep it going. So you need to find something like that and then just hold on to it, I think. And yes, you need the support of your family and the people around you. And I think, yeah, that's a lot of stuff, but it's not that hard. Yeah,
Yeah, well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
visiting us, and it was a great episode. I learned so much from you.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, we'd love for you to promote yourself on our channel, so please tell us about where people can meet you, where they can reach out to you.
So, well, there's always my blog. You can go and read. It's www.creativitywithk.com, and then all my social handles are Creativity with K, which is I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm mostly on Instagram, and whenever you want to, catch up on some subject with me, there's always Twitter. These are the two main platforms that I really tend to use. And then I'm also on Pinterest, because I find it a place to gather ideas and things that interest me. So yeah, I'm on Pinterest as well. And yeah, that's that's pretty much it. Like,
All right,
yeah.
amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being on our show. And thank you all for listening in. See you next week. Goodbye.